How's everybody doing out there? This is what the early stages of civil war looks like. You've been warned. Talked about this for quite some time. You know that this is a predictive program. This is what they want, and it's here. While people still being distracted, playing their video games, distracted with politics, even Tucker Carlson and what he said, is he having a little riff with Trump? I mean, all this drama that I am just not paying attention to, because at the end of the day, we have bigger fish to fry. We have bigger things to address or be aware of. And this is one of them. This is one of them. You're looking at the last days of the USA. And the world isn't just under pressure, it's cracking open. War after war, rumors of war, riots after riots, mass shootings after mass shootings, violent crimes through the roof, thanks in part to Beijing joke burden. But it's through the roof in every major city. You have fake news running amok, pushing all kinds of bullshit fake agendas like white supremacy, trying to divide and conquer, toxic male masculinity, all this nonsense. The Dylan Mulvaney's, the woke agenda, the pushing the confused gender. I mean, we're under siege and under attack, and they're coming at us from so many angles. I mean, you had the scamdemic in 2020, you had the lockdowns, you have DARPA now. I've already gone through this. DARPA did a simulation talking about the next scamdemic and how they're going to handle it. I've already went through that recently, I think a week or two ago, and like they want to make that happen too, another scamdemic where they use regular everyday illnesses that people die from, and they want to call it whatever the new stupid virus that they're going to make up a pretend name for a mysterious virus. People will be getting old and dying, or dying of a heart attack because they were going to die of a heart attack, and they'll say it's a new virus out there. Remember COVID? No matter what symptom, oh, you got a hangnail, you got COVID. Oh, you got a cough, well, you got COVID. No symptoms, you got COVID. Remember all that? Remember people that died in car accidents and stuff? They put on toe tags, COVID, the reason. It was just, they want another heaping helping of that. So you got that in the background. Where's the bird flu? Haven't heard anything about the bird flu in quite some time now, right? Price of eggs have come down to like $2.79 at Aldi last time I checked, which was last week, about a week ago. And you have this Iran-Israel thing. I haven't even checked any of the footage to see if it's wag the dog fake footage like in the Ukraine. Remember when the war broke out, they were using video game footage. Remember that? The so-called war, and it was video game footage. I did a long video about that, but they're saying Tehran's getting attacked. Trump just issued a warning to Tehran, saying to the people, get the hell out. I hear warships and planes are headed that way. U.S. warships and planes are headed that way. Meanwhile, we got our own problems. Iran is thinking about blocking the Strait of Hormuz. Did I pronounce that right? Hormuz. It's not the first time, but if they do, that's 20% of the oil travels through there, and they're saying that if Iran does that, prices of oil per barrel will go from where it is now, around $75, to upwards of $200-$300. You could be looking at no gas at your local gas stations. I mean, you're looking at the Jimmy Carter gas shortage on steroids. It's going to be that bad. They're saying if Iran does that, everything will come to a halt. Everything. No flying of planes. No Amazon. You get no UPS. You get no food delivered. You get nothing. Tractor trailers, truck drivers going to have to park their trucks. Nothing will get delivered. Nothing. And then eventually the grid will be affected by that. And it'll just be utter ridiculousness like we've never seen before. because the world, I mean, runs on gas, right? Oil, gas. Diesel becomes so expensive that it's just, they're saying it could get as bad as, it probably won't. I hope it doesn't, but $20 a gallon. You won't be able to go anywhere. You won't be able to afford to go anywhere. $20 a gallon? If you can even find gas. So I say this: don't panic. Buy on the gas, but if you hear this, stock up today. Get your gasoline tanks stocked up. Your cars, fill up all your lawnmower, whatever gasoline tanks that you have, fill them up. I would go to the store and get 2-cycle oil if you have weed eaters and stuff like that, and stock up on that. Get at least enough gas to last for several months if it's possible. We don't know if it's going to pan out like that, but that's word out in the street. And what you're looking at here is you're looking at Civil War 2.0. It's brewing, and this is what the beast system wants. Entire nations are unraveling before our eyes. What you see on the surface is only a fraction of the storm raging beneath. The storm is coming. Remember we heard that? Like 9 years ago. Chaos has become the global norm. Confusion rules. Strife spreads like wildfire, and God begins to withdraw his spirit in preparation for the final days. And Satan is rapidly gaining dominion over the earth. These are not just hard times. These are the last days of order. From every corner of the world, news reports pour in like blood from an open wound. Political upheaval, cultural collapse, and a level of violence once unthinkable, now accepted as normal. Ask yourself, is this all just a coincidence, or is it exactly what we've been warned about? Every sign is here. The lawless spirit, the hatred of truth. And you see that. They said that this is the post-human, post-truth world that we're in. Well, what does that mean? They want to get rid of us, right? The carbon footprint. But whoever's left here, they want us to mesh with machine, right? Post-human, post-truth. We get a lot of fake news out there more often than not, just tons of it, flooded with fake news. And then when you tell the truth, they want to say, oh, we have a misinformation over here. This is misinformation. We need to create a misinformation ministry or whatever to control your speech even more. Meanwhile, you're just trying to get the word out there. They're calling the truth misinformation, but they spew their lies and fake news and other outlets, and they call that the truth. What's up is down, what's down is up. It's inverted. You already know this. You should know this by now, unless you're a normie. I've gone over this a million times. It's clown world. It's bizarro world, right? Men getting pregnant. Of course, that's not a man getting pregnant. That's a woman trying to propose as a man getting pregnant. Dudes built like linebackers going into women's bathrooms. And the fake news media complex pushing it like that's normal. Remember, over 50-something genders and nothing on. I mean, the list goes on and on in insanity. We're getting sprayed like bugs. They're controlling the weather. Lab meat they want to shove down our throats. They want us to be eating bugs. They want us to own nothing by 2030 and be happy, even though they want it to happen before that. They're doing the do in strategic areas like Lahaina, for instance, burning these areas out, flooding them out to reclaim the land. Their agenda 2030 to put us and stack them and pack them smart cities and have corridors where we can't go, right? And go look at the agenda. I believe it's a 2030 map. It shows what the pipe dream is. Very little areas that we're allowed to go if they get their way. And the scamdemic in 2020, that was just a dry run. Oh, you can't go to the beach because there's COVID out there. You go to a liquor store, you could go to Grok store, grocery store. You can't go to church, can't go to gym. You can't go to national parks. You can't go to the beach. We'll fine you if you go to the beach. Because they don't want us on the beach. Beach is good for us. They don't want us out in nature. That's good for us, right? They want us to be engulfed in electronic soup in their smart cities with their bullshit frequencies, eating the bugs, right? Taking your quaxines. They want you to live in a place called the Line, which is like Saudi Arabia's line. It's an actual building where you work, you play, you worship, but you're inside. Picture a giant, picture like a 70-mile mall that's maybe, I don't know how wide it is. It's a line. It's very narrow, but it's very long. So it might be a mile or half a mile wide, but it's 35 or 70 miles long. Really, something huge, and it's basically your own prison. That's what they want you in the middle of the desert. Well, not us, but the Saudis. You know, I'm even beginning to wonder about this tiny home, which I'm very interested in. They fascinate me, but I think that they're trying to trick us because it is fascinating. These tiny homes that have everything in them, but they're small. They're only like 400, 800 square feet. But it almost seems like a form of programming, like to get us to say, "Hey, we don't want the homes that we're living in now, which could be 2,500 square feet that we've lived in for years and years and years, and we liked." All of a sudden, now you see people saying, "I ditched my 3,000 square foot home, and I'm loving my 250 square foot tiny home." It's almost like they want you to want the small thing, the cell, the smaller place to live in. It's hard for me to describe, but it makes me seem like they're trying to fool us into liking that, into ditching the acre that you might be living on, and the nice big home that you have that you worked hard for to get, and ditch it for this little tiny home, which it does appear very very nice. We'll live in a camper, right? Or I redone this bus, I refurbished this school bus, and see I'm raising my family, and we're traveling around. It's really fun and happy, and which it's intriguing, it's interesting, but is that sustainable? Is that something you're going to want to be in for the rest of your life? Or eventually do you want to spread your wings and long for the days when you had your house? You know, you had your living room, your nice big master bedroom, things like that. It just makes me wonder the push for tiny homes. But they don't want us where we are. They don't want you living in your neighborhood. Eventually they're going to want to try to flood you out, maybe earthquake you out, burn you out. But here we are. Every sign is here. The lawless spirit, the hatred of truth, the glorification of evil. You've seen this. The blinding confusion. You don't know what bathroom to use. You don't know what gender you are. Seriously? Seriously? But this is where we're at. Kool-Aid in your hair, these libtards with no kings. Okay, we got a no king day, idiots. It's called July 4th, right? But they're out there saying no kings, no kings. Okay, clowns, clowns. If if we really had a king, you wouldn't be out there allowed to do this and act a fool. Wouldn't be happening. None of this would be happening in a real kingdom with a real king. But this is the clown world that we're in. And when every warning sign of the end is flashing right in front of your face, there's no excuse for your ignorance. You should see what's here and what's coming even more. This is the hour we've been warned about. This is it. And this country's walking into a trap. We're being led into a trap. We see this, right? But there's only so much we can do. We're kind of sort of, we're still in this information fight to get the word out, right? But you see it now taken to the streets. It's manifesting in the streets. Of course, done by design. Of course, a lot of them are getting paid. Of course, they're being tricked into doing this. We already know that, but it's happening. You see it, right? But we're still trying to battle their information, get the word out of what's going on to the normies. Let's take a look at what's happening in our country. And before we get into that phase of the of this here video, I would like to mention now. This has been maybe 3 years ago, maybe four, that I came across this, and I mentioned it or talked about it in a video. Something about how I could be sadly mistaken, but I think I'm right. I came across an article, and it must have been during a fast read headline. That's where I mentioned it, talking about how, when the price of oil, they say, oh, now this happened, so it's going to go, price of oil per barrel is going to go from $75 to $300. And then all of a sudden, gas will jump really big, like $1 a gallon more, or maybe $2 or double. But what I'm trying to say is the article that I came across, the information that I came across, the information I came across talked about how it's a fraud. They say, okay, because this incident happened over there in Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, so therefore the price of oil is going to jump from this price to that price. But the article broke down like how many gallons of gas each barrel produces, and it's like so many gallons of gas, a lot compared to what the barrel holds, that of oil, that the price shouldn't jump hardly at all. Like it should barely be noticeable. Something like that. Like we're being ripped off. That's what I'm trying to get at. Like we're being ripped off big time. They always look for an excuse to make the price of oil jump from this to that and use some kind of bullshit event. And then they want to charge us outrageous amounts of money, right? And it's also funny how, ever notice that when there's a so-called shortage of things, they jack up the price, but yet that product, you still will pay the price that they jacked it up to. And a lot of people still paying the price that they jacked it up to, and there's still a product on the shelf constantly coming in. It's like there's no shortage, but they said there's a shortage because they said this happened, so they had to jack up the price. Do you know where I'm going with it? It feels like we're getting ripped off more often than not. That's what I'm trying to say. Now with this, if it gets really blocked off and we get no, I shudder to think we get no gas. Like we're gonna run out of gas in this country. Whatever happened to drill baby drill? Is that still a thing? I haven't heard anything about the pipelines or anything. I haven't heard anything about that. But why is gas still $2.89 around here? It should be. I'm waiting for it to come down. And I know you just can't turn on a pipeline like that. But I would like to hear some information, like what's the progress on that. But if they do block the Strait of Hormuz, and that's 1/5 of the oil of the world that goes through there. And so I'm trying to think. Okay, that's 20%. A 20% drop in the. Okay, we still have 80%. So that to me doesn't sound like a. It's a good chunk. Don't get me wrong. It's 1/5 of the oil that can't get through to get where it needs to go. But then I start thinking to myself, can they reroute ports, or they can't? Or maybe they can't. They can't. All right. So let me get. So even if that was so, and then I think to myself, so you run at 80% capacity. I mean, how much of a difference would that make? I'm trying to think. It's like if you feel 100%, you're ready to go, you're ready to run that marathon, but all of a sudden you feel 80%. Yeah, you notice a slight drop off in how you feel. It'll be a drop off, a noticeable, but you can still pull through. You understand? So how can we still pull through on 80% of oil, as opposed to 100%? I mean. So I just feel like we get played so many ways. Like, oh, there's not going to be any gas because they're going to block the Hormuz. Okay, that's 20%. What about the other 80%? That 20% is going to shut the entire country down. No planes are flying. Nothing. I could be way off kilter here because it is late. But I'm just trying to think. It's like. So America's walking into a trap. Just take a look at what's going on around. You'll see a pattern that's obvious. You have to be. You have to have like a libtard not to understand what's going on. This nation, once the most powerful and free on earth, is now on a path engineered for destruction. Self-destruction. From the fake news media complex to the political machine. From academia that's been infiltrated by commies to big tech and its censorship commies, the message is clear. Divide, inflame, destroy. It's not about disagreement anymore. It's not about debate. You're not going to vote your way out of this or whatever. It's about pushing the country to the brink of civil war, and they're doing it on purpose. You heard me say that, purpose, or porpoise. On purpose. The mainstream, lamestream media foments hatred daily, the fake news especially. Demon crap politicians openly call for resistance, they call for violence and lawlessness. I just saw a video tonight of these friggin' damn libtards. They were playing kickball, like kicking the ball to each other. They were like in a circle or something like that. At this BS protest, this BS riot shit, this nonsense, this stupid nonsense, these useful idiots. They were kicking around playing kickball, but it was a Trump's head in effigy. It was a severed Trump's head. That's what they were kicking around, which is sick. It shows just how demonic and demented that the libtards are. Two wings of the same bird. Okay, my eye. That's a sick side of that bird. Kicking around the head of, it was a ball dressed up as a severed head of Trump. But they call you the fascist. They call you the racist. They call you this. They call you... Meanwhile, it's them. They're the clowns. They're the cult of death. They're the cult of violence. Right? They get off on killing babies. It's violent. It's also sacrifice to the devil. Ooh, the devil. In the devil they revel. Yeah. It's them that project what they are onto the patriots, the Christians, the red-blooded Americans that just want to be left the fact alone. But it's them. They're the violent ones. They're the manipulated, docile, dumb as a bag of hammers, easily led, non-critical thinking POSs that project their shit onto us. Right? You see it all the time. They're the ones out in the street acting a fool. They're the ones out in the street burning shit down. Not you, not me. No, ain't no conservative, Republican, whatever you want to say, a patriot, whatever, Trump support, however you want to phrase it. There's no real American out there doing this. They're not American. They could claim they're American till cows come home. You're no more American just because you're in America and you're acting like this. Then walking into a McDonald's makes you a hamburger or a cheeseburger. You're not going to be a hamburger because, hey, I'm a McDonald's. Now I've become I'm a hamburger. No. Unless you identify one, which is retarded. But what I'm trying to say is you walking into a church, right? That doesn't make you a Christian. So they could pretend they're Americans because they said, well, I live here in America and I say I'm American. Your actions, your ideology, your belief system, is it moral, your moral compass? Do you love this country? Well, you're not showing it. You're destroying it. Simple as day. You're not American. An American does not go out there and destroy his own country. It's opposite day with these idiots. But they're so idiotic, they're dangerous. And these demon rats, they openly call for resistance. They call for lawlessness. I mean, who does that? There was some kind of senator I heard. It was a woman, a libtard. What was she saying? She called for she said something severely anti-American. I can't remember because I watched so much stuff, but she said something like we got to destroy America, or it was something to that nature, something to that effect. Something so anti-American. You're a fucking congresswoman and you're saying this stuff and nothing's done. Nothing is done. If you're in Congress and you're speaking out against America and that America needs to be destroyed, this needs to happen, to me that's treason. You're against this country? Okay, we're gonna get the cane out, pull you off the political stage, putting your ass in a damn camp. You hate America so much? Okay, we'll give you communism because that's what you are, a commie anyway. We'll drop your ass over there in China, drop your ass over there in North Korea, North Korea. Venezuela. I would say Cuba, but that's too damn close for the United States. I don't need your ass getting on a damn raft 90 miles to get to Miami. F that noise. All they are is they're full of hatred. They're not happy no matter. They're not happy even if they get their way. But if they get their way, they're more quote unquote happy than when they don't. These people are hateful. If you disagree with them, even if you're on their side, if you disagree with them, they ain't having it. They want to call you the fascist. They're the fascists. They're the ones that are militant. They claim they're against guns, but yet they're the most violent POS demons you've ever seen. And stupid. They don't even know why. They just call Trump a king. Because the fake news apparatus said so. Okay? What kind of king is going to allow this? Huh? What kind of king is a... We didn't even call Biden a king. We called him a potato. We said he had dementia, which is true. Said he was senile. But as shitty as he was, and how he had that red in the background when he did that State of the Union, that friggin' commie that he was, talking about how he is tired and his patients are fed up with the purebloods because we didn't take our vaccines. That bitch was acting like a tyrant. But he was no king. All right? He wasn't a king. We didn't say, hey, you're acting kingly because this because of this, because there's a lot of things you could call out and said, well, that's kingly-esque or whatever. But it really wasn't. I mean, you can make shit up all you want, but at the end of the day, Biden was a senile potato. Trump's not a king. It's not a dictatorship. Can't take dictators to court and run their name through the mud for 10 years on communist fake news network. You can't. That stuff doesn't happen in communist countries. Okay, if you attempted that, well, it'll be off with your head, or a firing squad. You'll be vanished, as they say. Okay, so let's get that out of the way. This wouldn't be happening. We haven't had any kings here. That's why we have July 4th, no kings. These idiots have to hijack everything. July 4th, fucking rainbow. But I digress. At any rate. They claim to be protesting over deportation and trade policies, the border, or Trump himself. But if you take away the slogans and what you find is raw, seething hatred. Hatred of tradition. Hatred of the West and our traditions. They hate the Constitution. They hate the Bible. They hate order. They hate you. Go look in the mirror if you're a patriot. They hate you. Especially if you stand in the way of their progress. Now, what are they progressing towards? Well, if they get their way, they could drag us with them. We're progressing towards the abyss, marching towards fucking hell. That's what they call progress. Killing babies, they call Planned Parenthood. I'm sorry, did I miss something? You can't be a parent without your babies, idiots. They call that Planned Parenthood. Killing babies. You're marching towards death. You're marching towards hell. Because in the end, that's where these demons will be. They think they're going to some kind of after party with the New World Order. They ain't. They're useful idiots. They're tools for the New World Order. And once they're used up, New World Order's got other plans. They get vanished. Like they want the rest of us to be. Okay? The truth is brutal. Nothing they could do could stop Trump's second term. Don't get triggered, BitChute. We got to go over this because politics does play into everything, into our lives. It's woven in. So we got to go through this. And they're acting like wounded animals. They're acting like babies. They're throwing a temper tantrum and they're lashing out. They said, you're the violent ones. They said, you're the fascist. But they're the ones lashing out. Projection. Right? That's what they're doing. And let's face it. This isn't a mere political opposition, okay? This isn't like someone voicing their opinion in Congress. You know, they're having like the Congress and they let the Ilhan Omar. What kind of name is Ilhan? Ilhan. Oh, you so sexy, Ilhan. No, it's a disgusting name. She's ill. She's sick in the head, Ilhan Omar. She's married to her brother, right? But you could have them in Congress, and the friggin' commie Ilhan Omar gets up and says her piece and blah 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 blah. That's kind of like a political debate, opposition. There, they disagree or try to agree, whatever. But when you're doing shit like this in the streets, that's insurgency. To me, it's an insurrection. This makes the January 6th pale in comparison, even though we know January 6th had government in there, Antifa and BLM. All right, that was pulling off that shit, dressing like Trump supporters. This is everywhere. January 6th, if you want to go down that route, down that street, was just at the Capitol. It wasn't all over the country. This is organized. This is planned. This is all over the country, and this is insurgency, fighting against law enforcement, attacking them, fireworks at them, all this kind of crap, concrete bricks at throwing at concrete at friggin' what was it, ICE, as they were leaving that town. I showed you that, and I'm sure you've seen it elsewhere. That's a war, man. All this is a war. All this is warlike footing, okay? And that's what they're doing. This is war by other means, and soon it may not even try to hide behind protests and policy. It might take or will take to the streets in full force. See, it's not in the streets in full force now. But this could go like full-blown everywhere. Like, it's now in the libtarded cities. Okay, we got it. Big. Okay, woohoo. All right? So it doesn't affect you. It's not really affecting me. How's it affecting me? It only affects me when I see shit online or hear it on the news and it pisses me off. Or we talk about it at the gym, in the public sphere. Hey, did you hear about this? Yeah, it pisses me off. But other than that, it's not affecting you. You still could go get your groks, your groceries. You still getting your gas, as they say in the South. You're still doing what you've been doing. MK? But what happens when this comes to your street? Because that's what a civil war is. Full blown. It's everywhere, pretty much. I mean, there might be pockets of serenity, obviously, in the country. This is a big-ass country, 3.5 million square miles. I mean, it's going to be pockets of serenity where there's no war. But this is going to affect... If you live in the suburbs, it ain't that hard to make this spill over into your neck of the woods. And a majority of people live in the burbs and in these cities, right? Right? And it won't stop. They keep poking the bear. This won't stop until blood is spilled. What I find to be a little strange, or a lot strange about all this, is there's no... has anybody been shot in these protests? Because if it has, I must have missed that. I find that strange. Are they waiting for the right moment? Is the deep state waiting for the right moment to give some stupid plant within this whole spiel to say, okay, pull the trigger, it's time? Are they waiting for the right moment? Because you would think by now, with all this going on, someone would have brought a Second Amendment to the party, so to speak, to the riot, to the terrorist event that's going on. It hasn't happened. It's strange. Lawless assholes not bringing that. But then again, they are anti-Second Amendment. But you understand what I'm saying? Something like that hasn't popped off. Are they waiting for the right time for that to happen? Because you know a lot of shit's orchestrated. It's planned, predictive programming, and etc. They wanted this to pop off, man. They're making this shit pop off. So I just was kind of curious about that. I don't know, but these bastards are demons. They are demons. Do you remember back in Trump's first term, a lot of violence against MAGA supporters? You didn't see MAGA supporters, or we'll just say patriots, all right? Because I know BitChute gets triggered on when I say that. How about patriots? How about, did you see people that loved their country, which happened to vote for Trump at the time? Okay? So let's get over all that. Patriots, we'll say. Did you see them going and attacking libtards? Did you see them throwing things at them? No. Did you see them going to libtard shitty ass rallies or what? Not even rallies because there wasn't many sheeple there. But you didn't see us going there doing shit and attacking them, disrupting. But you seen them go to the Trump rallies and start trouble. You understand this? It's only one side because it's always them causing the problems. That idiot that killed those two Democrat Congress people, I think it was in Minnesota, somewhere up there. They said he was a Trump supporter, but he worked. He was appointed under Waltz to work under him on something. Okay, no, Trump supporters are not going to work under a libtard Tampon Tim Waltz. It's not going to work for him. It doesn't work. That doesn't happen. So we know that that was a libtard, a fake news watcher did it. Why? To make it look like it was a Trump supporter. But somehow they got the messaging all messed up. The bottom line is, all that stuff that happened during Trump's first term was a warm-up for them. All the silencing, the conservative voices, all that stuff. Remember Steve Scalise was shot at that softball game, the congressional softball game they were having. Remember that? By a libtard. Remember that? They're always holding heads up of Trump, of an effigy like Kathy Grapefruit Griffin, kicking Trump's head around. They're sick bastards. They're sick puppies. They're dangerous. They're violent. They're anti-American. There's no two ways about it. Baby killers. And the real plan right now is unfolding. This is an intentional descent into madness. The goal is very simple and very clear. Tear this country apart. Divide and conquer. Provoke the chaos and hatred that civil society collapses. And in the power vacuum, allow foreign enemies to strike the killing blow. And that brings me to Marjorie Taylor Greene's ex-post. She said that, basically she pretty much said it's just a matter of time before we're attacked here. We've had upwards of 40 million invaders under Beijing Joe Biden's watch, under his watch, come in the last 4 years. You ain't deporting 40 million just like that. Lickety split. You ain't waving a wand and all of them will just come on. It's not happening. It's not happening. You could deport 17,000 in the last month or 2 months. That's just a drop in the bucket. They're here. The enemy is within. I don't believe that another country is going to attack us. I believe the enemy is already within, that no other country needs to attack us. But for S's and giggles, it could be both. The enemy within and another country. Or it could just be our own corrupt damn government, blaming other countries. But the enemy is within. And they have their marching orders too. Don't forget sleeper cells for the longest time. The longest time. I've heard about this shit for like, I don't know, since I was a teenager or something like that. But the enemy's within. So listen to this. As civil war ignites in our cities and citizens turn on one another, what better time for China, Russia, or Iran to move in? Maybe not with troops, but with a nuclear warhead. Put that in quotes because I know how pitch shooters. One strike during the chaos would finish the job. America ceases to exist. Deagle.com, Georgia Guidestones fulfilled for 2025. And a superpower is brought to its knees by its own hand. And don't think the violence will be short-lived. The economic collapse alone would destroy what remains of our fragile infrastructure. Roads will go unattained or unmaintained. The grid's down. No food. You go to the store and find nothing. No gas, no food, no water, no big pharma meds. And it's not going to last for weeks. It's going to last for years. Hence the 95 or 90% of the population wiped out within the first year. As they've been saying, in 2025, they said, is the year. Why is this happening? Because the media and demon rat elites will keep stoking the flames. They'll exploit the collapse for power. My question is, why haven't they been arrested? You're this evil trying to destroy a country. George Soros and all these bastards, arrest him. My answer to that is, we've been sold out for the longest time, ongoing for years, infiltrated. That there's not enough good hats and not enough in power to do anything. If it was me, you want to call me a king? Okay, I'm gonna act a king. We're rooting all these evil bastards out. Perhaps easier said than done. Could be too late. It's too late. You know, we're not talking about soldiers in uniform lining up on a battlefield. We're talking about mass uprising, mass uprisings that are not just isolated events. They're not just isolated to certain libtarded cities, but everywhere. Millions, illegal these invaders, radicals, activists, and their allies, sleeper cells, marching in streets, seizing buildings, attacking police stations, flooding cities with rage. Here's my answer to that. Police stations, you don't know that they could attack you any moment. You got weaponry. Break out all the technology that you need to stop this. It's technology that I don't even know, we're not aware about. I'm sure you have it to prevent this shit. Voice of Skull is just old hat, but you could try that. Access denial. How about geoengineering them the fuck out of the cities and other places? How about just make a Voice of Skull thing saying, if you don't go back to your hovel, back crawling to your rock, you're dead. I don't know. I'm just saying there's a way to stop all this shit. There's got to be a way to stop this. That the police department, never heard of overrunning a police department? You don't have bullets and guns? All done by design. Everything. Oh my God. What am I going to do? I don't have any machine guns or anything. What am I going to do? They're coming to destroy you. I don't know. You're a law enforcement. I've seen you flip skinny little girl, a body slammer onto the pavement because she was not wanting you to arrest her and resisting you. You can't. There's bullshit. So an economy that shatters, no food, crops rot in the fields, grocery stores empty, prices explode, construction projects stop, millions lose their jobs. Here's the signs that we're in the beginning stage of the Civil War. Cities defying federal authority. Number 2, drumroll please. Governors refusing to comply with national mandates. Don't know why they're not being arrested, but okay. Armed citizens patrolling their own neighborhoods. When you see that happen, you know things got really bad. Strategic targets. Power stations being attacked. Communication towers already vulnerable being attacked. Local leaders cutting ties with the federal government entirely. It ain't coming. It's here. Are you prepared? Here's what you need to do. Secure your home and perimeter. Reinforce it or harden your home if you're able to. Stockpile food and water now, not later. Stockpile gas now, not later. Gather up, stockpile medical. You should have already done this. Medical supplies. Create your own emergency kit. Get your ivermectin. What is it? At the... What's that family? Wellness family? I forget. Those kits with the ivermectin and stuff. You might want to go buy that. What's your bug-in plan? Or do you want a bug-out plan? Do you have one? Know when to stay put. Know when to move. Acquire power sources, generators, solar units, batteries, whatever you think you might need, and including brewski, if that's your thing. Stock up. It's no longer a theory. Looks like we're been pushed close to the brink. It's a horrible future, but it is survivable if you plan accordingly. I don't know if you want to survive in this shit, but I'm just saying. Don't be a troll out there. We don't have time for that nonsense. Oz works hard for no money. It's late again. It's a big sandwich, and all might have to take a bite. Don't be a troll out there. If you see a troll, say something. At any rate. Like, share, subscribe, or don't. At any rate, I am Oot.